I am here with Rawley Davis, and the Historical Society is committed to documenting his grandfather's activities. His grandfather was known for his barbecues in the Antelope Valley, and Rawley, the grandson, has continued that process. So I really want to get the details. Rawley, how did your grandfather start his whole barbecue?
The understanding I have is that he lived up in Oak Creek Canyon, had a ranch up there, and he had Native American Indians that worked for him. And the Indians basically taught him how to do deep pit barbecues. Back when they were starting to do deep pits, they did goat and probably venison, deer, and anything else that they could probably put in the ground to feed, because they always fed a lot of people. But then my grandpa, Rawley, started doing beef, and it just, from there, it was beef, or never pork, never turkeys. It was either goat and burro. The burro came in from the Ridgecrest area, but he did beef and goat, and basically that's how it got started. And then he just progressed to feeding, I mean, thousands of people. And I know that sounds like a lot, but the Catholic Church in Lancaster, he did some big barbecues there, fed 2,200 people one time, or maybe more than once, whenever they had their annual bazaar. Yeah. Well,
I think that during the times when things were hard here with some of the miners, they all.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like, I mean, we have this little poster up here that talks about up at the ranch, where they talked about dancing and orchestras and just under the stars type of thing, and I, like I said, those dates back there, I don't think would remember it either, but they had a dance floor up there, and they always, sometimes it was every other Saturday night. It was the understanding.
This is up at Oak Creek?
It was in Oak Creek. And so everybody was invited from all over the Antelope Valley.
Yeah, well, I think that even out at Willow Springs, that your grandfather did some barbecue.
Oh yeah, and actually we're going to do a barbecue out at Willow Springs in March, in my grandpa's original pit.
Oh, how exciting!
Yeah.
Oh, that's where it's good.
Yeah, so maybe we can actually do that. So talking about the pits, you have your own pits in your own backyard, and you have multiple pits. I
do.
So you have a big one, a medium-sized one, and a little one. Is that?
I do.
Is that the?
I have one pit that you can do 500 pounds of meat in. It's 4 foot deep, 4 foot wide, and 8 foot long. It's a big pit. There's a lot of work involved, but that's how my grandfather did it. Mm-hmm. I've kind of made it a little simpler on myself. I've got the big pit, and then I have a round concrete pipe pit that I can do 100 pounds of meat in, and then I have a small pit that I could do 1 bag of meat in. And a bag of meat's anywhere from 25 to 30 pounds.
Okay. What's the difference in the procedures other than the size of the pit?
The big pit, it's a completely full-blown, you have rock rings that you heat rock up. You have, well, let me start over back. To get the pit ready, we stock the pit with wood, and we'll burn the wood down till it's ready. I mean, there's a certain time that when the coals are white hot and not blue hot or not red hot, but when they're white hot, that's when you need to put the meat in the ground. And because there's a lot of people that have, they do deep pits, but not always, but they complain sometimes about the meat not getting done. And sometimes that's because they didn't burn the pit long enough. They didn't get the pit hot enough. And so I try not to do that. So when I stock the pit with wood, when the pit's ready is when I put the meat in.
And you have rock at the bottom of the pit?
The big pit, actually it's fire brick, the whole thing.
Pit. Okay.
Walls, floor, just not the top.
But the other pits?
The other pits are just concrete pipe.
Okay.
One of them's 32 inches in diameter.
But nothing on the bottom?
Nothing on the bottom, just coals.
Okay.
And I do not use the rock, the hot rock, in the concrete rings.
In the small pits, okay. What kind of wood? Any specific kind that you use?
Oak wood is what I like to use most all the time when it's available. Sometimes they want way too much money for, it used to be you could go get a cord of wood for $100. Now it's 500, and and if I can't get oak 100%, I'll use almond. The thing that you can't use is you can't use any type of fruit wood, eucalyptus that has oils in it, because actually people say I'm crazy, but it does make the flavor of the meat different. Yeah, without any question. Okay. So oak and almond is what I try to use. We have used mesquite over in Shoshone, California, and it makes a hot fire, almost too hot. Yeah.
Okay, and so then, you have to prepare the meat, obviously, before you put it in the pit. So tell me a little bit about the
Okay, so when we purchase the meat for the barbecues, we use chuck clod. We used, can you want me to go back to what we used to use?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we used to use shoulder clod, and it had a lot of marbling and fat in it. But now, in 2023, you can't, actually it's been about 5 years, but you can't buy shoulder clod that has fat in it. It's just so lean, and it doesn't, you gotta have some marbling and some fat. That's what makes the flavor of a deep pit barbecue. So we went from shoulder clod, now we use beef chuck, and we purchased the clods in anywhere from 22 to 28 pound clods, and we cut them up and we'll marinate them with garlic powder, salt, and pepper. We'll roll the meat in a container. You're going to video when we do that, right? Okay, so we'll do that later today, but we have never changed, never.
Okay, all righty. And then, you prepare the meat and then you wrap it in.
Yep.
What?
Teresa makes muslin bags for us.
Muslin bags,
Yep.
okay.
And muslin is kind of like a flour sack from the older days, or we've done it as crude as white pillow sacks if we couldn't find muslin or couldn't get muslin. And it's just something to protect the meat while it's in the next step. It goes from being prepped to put in muslin bags, and then it goes from the muslin bags into burlap.
Burlap.
Yeah, and burlap is really what protects the meat from either burning or getting the dirt taste and anything on it. So we protect the best that we can.
And you soak the burlap?
Once we get the bags put in the burlap, I'll wash the burlap and let it hang and dry. But once we get the meat in the bags, we'll, when it's ready to go in the pit, we'll soak the bags individually and go soak the first one, put it in the pit, soak the second one, so on and so on. If it's one bag or if there's 10 bags, it's the same process, nothing changes.
Okay, and then the meat goes in the pits after the coals are ready, and then
we'll go to the big pit right now.
Let's do big pit. Okay.
So if we're doing the big pit, we will cover the coals with about 3/4 of an inch of sand. At that point, then we'll be ready to put the bags of meat in the pit.
Okay.
And so we do that process. We'll get all the meat bags in the pit, and then we'll cover the bags of meat with burlap that we've soaked in water. We lay it over the top, and then we'll put another 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of sand over that burlap, which this is exactly how the Indians used to do it. Put the 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of sand on the meat burlap, and then make sure we don't have any smokers coming up or anything, because if you get one smoker coming, a little bit of air, you're going to create a blowtorch, and it will 100% blow hole or burn holes in all the bags. We've so far,
knock on wood.
I've only burnt a hole in one bag, and it was not a lot of years ago, but it was for the Rural Town Council in Rosemont, and it was just because we did about 400 pounds of meat, and it was just a hot summer day, and it just got away from us. But anyway, so then once we put the 3/4 of inch of sand on top of the burlap, then we have rocks that we're heating, or really they're fire brick, in rock rings, we call them, and it's just making those brick hot to put on top of the meat. So once we get the sand on the top of the burlap, we'll pull the rock out of the rings and we'll place them on top of the pit. Not throwing them in there, we kind of basically lay them in there, cover all the meat, and then we cover it with just regular clean fill. Dirt.
Okay, and it then stays in for?
Once we start it, we'll leave it in for 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah, and after that 24 hours, it's pretty good eating.
It sounds like it. Well, it looks to me like we're approaching the time where you're going to need to start the process.
Yeah.
Because you said you wanted to start.
Yeah.
So.
And I didn't know, or are we still on? Oh,
go ahead.
That's
well,
okay.
I was just going to say, I haven't put any pit in, or any wood in the ring yet, the concrete
you need
ring.
Time to do that.
Yeah, it'll take maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes max.
Okay.
And then we can light the fire.
Great. Okay, so here we are at the
pit.
At the pit.
And this is the 100-pound pit. If you're going to do 100 pounds of meat, we can do it in here, but we don't use any rock. So I'm just going to put that right there. And we always use lighter fluid and not gasoline or diesel or anything that's going to taint the wood, the smell and all that might go into the meat. I don't need any more yet. Let me get it started. Oops. So here we go. Oops. Maybe. Let me have the big one. It's going to go your way, Chris. The wind's blowing that exactly right to you. And one thing that we didn't mention at the beginning is we normally wet everything down around the pit just to prevent any fires from starting. So. Yeah,
because this is, you know, as you get embers, the wind could carry, yeah.
And when my dad and mom used to do it, they always had a fireman on a hose. I don't mean like a municipality fireman, just somebody that wanted to.
That had a hose.
Yeah, that had a hose just to protect. And we do the same thing. We notify the fire department before we start the fires. They've been very gracious with us, with all the EPA ruling and everything that goes on this day and age. But also they know that this area here around our pit is always cleaned up, and so it's not like doing it up there in the mountains. They'd dig a pit up there by hand. They'd have 6 or 8 guys dig the pit, then they'd throw river rock in the bottom. They wouldn't use, like the big pit over here, Chris, this is a small pit. You can do 1 bag of meat in this pit. But over here, this is where we heat the rocks for the rock ring. There's a rock ring right there that we fill up with wood and rock. And then the big pit's right here. And it's 4 by 4, or 4 foot deep, 4 foot wide, 8 foot long. Whoops.
That's something I'm making. Just trying to keep the sun behind you.
Yeah. It'll take a little while for this to start ginning, but once it starts heating, you can't probably even stand right there.
So you anticipate about what time of day you'll be putting the meat in?
I figured we're going to put the meat in between 2:30 and 3.
Okay.
And I will be taking the meat out tomorrow.
You told me at 3.
Yeah, about 3. And I can tell you one thing that we've done. We had that pit over there with 225 pounds of meat in it, and it was raining like cats and dogs.
Oh,
and we put this little
word.
metal roof over it, and the fire burnt down, the coals were perfect. We made the meat up on the porch out of the rain, brought it down and put it in the pit, and it turned out perfect. But one thing about on this desert, you always got to deal with the wonderful wind.
The wind, yes.
And it stinks, but you just got to take the precautions that you need for in case of a fire.
It's just part of the...
Yeah. I was going to call little Joe this morning and just let him know that we were thinking about him, but yeah, I've been so crazy busy. I tried to talk him. Did I tell you I tried to talk him into coming out?
Coming out.
But he told me little Gilbert's on his way back there. So.
Okay. Well, Terry Burton was back there.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've actually reached out to Terry, and he's going to be here tomorrow.
Oh, good. Terry's been around quite a few of these deep pits.
I know.
Him and his dad, Cease, and
yep.
Mom, Terry, and that's the end of that one. So now, Chris, we're going to let this thing kind of start ginning and heating up, and it'll gradually burn down into just coals.
Okay, now we have the next step, which
Yes.
is handling the meat. Is that what?
This is the rub or the marinating factors of the deep pit.
Okay.
So it's going to be salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And I could tell you that there's a method to how much salt you put in there or how much pepper you put in there, but I've never ever used anything except for the look of when I put it all together. And that's basically how I go by doing it.
And this is salt.
This is salt. And I go, for 50 to 75 pounds, I use just my first knuckle on my finger.
That works.
Set that over there, please. Let me get all them little clumps out.
I think your grandfather was known for being a bare-handed stirrer of things.
Yeah, he was. Now, I have to mention this because if little Joe Polly was here right now, he'd make sure that I put in 2/3 of that whole container of pepper.
Oh, that was his?
Because he loved the pepper.
I see.
And this is coarse pepper. and this is garlic powder. And those are the 3.
Oh, there's someone at the gate.
Oh,
Here, I've got the opener.
Hey, Rip. Hi.
I'm just the opposite than Joe. I like putting a lot of
Put a lot
garlic
of
powder.
garlic on it. So you've got about half of that of garlic, or
Yeah. Oh, that smells good.
it smells wonderful. Of course, I think I probably would like Joe. I like pepper too,
Yeah.
but the garlic is. Whole room smells like garlic.
Get back, Rip.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it? Can't you smell it?
I'm gonna grab that pepper. I mean that salt. Just a little more. Just a little. Watch out.
I would expect that it's just your years of experience, because if you do all this, 50 pounds of meat, 100 pounds of meat, you have to adjust accordingly, and you
Yeah, and
just
I
make it
can
look right.
kind of tell, how much I'm gonna need, and I mean, I don't know if it's a lot of meat, like 150 pounds, then I kind of use the ounces of the jars
I see. Okay. Okay.
to put the right amount in. But so this is for 50 pounds. That's about what it's going to take right there.
Okay.
And so now we have this, the marinating or the rub is ready. So just for the video, this is the pinto beans that we'll be cooking tomorrow. And we'll use 7.5 to 8.5 pounds in a regular roaster.
Okay.
Onions, chili brick, and I think that's pretty much it. Oh no, I do put some salt pork.
Salt
What's that?
pork in the beans?
Never mind, I was.
Yeah, salt pork.
Okay.
And then this is for the salsa.
Yeah.
So it's a gallon of tomatoes, a quart of green chilies, and then we add onions, a little red wine vinegar, and a little oil, and mix it up, and then that's pretty much
The salsa.
the salsa. So,
Well, I know years ago I asked somebody about what was in the salsa, and it was a closely guarded secret at that time.
well, it still is, but I mean, I put the same thing in the salsa as I do here. I use a little bit of garlic powder, very, very little, not little, but I use salt, and a little bit of pepper. I don't put any salt in my beans when I make them, because everybody says, well, I can't do the sodium and all that stuff. And I figured there's plenty of sodium in everything anyway, but I mean, I've only had a few people ask me, how come you didn't salt the beans? But most of the time, with the chili brick and everything else that goes
That's
in.
got salt.
Yeah. Well, very good.
So
Okay.
that's it for the rub. Now we need to go to the table outside, and we're going to put the meat together in the burlap in the muslin bags.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I got the red turkey. You're in business.
What here now?
Well, I think Monty's going to roll it. I'm going to cut it,
Okay.
and you and Glenn
You bag it.
can bag it and tie it. So you'll start with first one of them burlaps.
And one string for the flower sacks and another one
For the burlap.
burlap. Okay.
Okay, so we got 52.5 or 52.2.
Rawley,
What's
want these in the water?
they've already been in the water.
It's dry.
No, I know.
Yeah.
They'll
Okay.
be in the water again before we.
Get your hands dirty.
Well, I'm trying. I've never seen it.
So here's the meat.
Get back, Rip.
Hey, puppy
Go.
dog. Come here. Hey, over here. There you go. He says, yeah, but you don't have the meat.
You never seen this, Reg?
No.
Really?
I've eaten it
Right on.
many times. I've never seen it.
He's seen it on his plate.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is what we call a clod.
Good.
22, 23, 25, 27 pounds. And there's the helper right there, little Teresa.
Yes.
She's the one that does all the picking up and then has to put up with me. What's that?
You're cutting 52 pounds today.
Yeah,
52 pounds, yeah.
get back, Rip.
Good. How are you?
All right. Good to see you.
You too. You guys get the fun
Okay.
job, guesstimating the weight.
Well, with these two, it's going to be pretty easy, I think, because 26 pounds. So we'll just put one clod in each one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like our
Rip.
chances.
Go.
Right.
And the meat is well marbled.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
I guess.
Because it's going to get heavy.
Well, it's only going to be 26 pounds. Of course, that might be heavier than I'm giving it credit for. There we go.
So you just cut it in chunks.
Yeah, about 3 pound pieces.
Okay.
That was the job my mom did a lot. Huh?
Off like this piece.
Yeah, me too. But
Where do you get your
a lot of people like me.
Smart and Final. Smart and Final.
Okay, so Smart and Final provided the meat. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't. No, it doesn't matter. See, if I got all kind of like, oh yeah.
Get back.
You said the whole quad in each.
In one bag. All this meat's going in one bag.
That's what I. And then you have another quad or no?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Rip, you better go on. You're going to be in trouble.
He's not even going to leave to go chase the truck. He's like, nope, I smell this. I'll stay.
I'll pull this out tomorrow.
All right, you guys.
Now it's time to tie.
So then you dip that in the water?
After we get it in the burlap, Reg, we'll make 2 bags up,
Yeah.
put it into burlap and get it tied off. And before we put it in the pit, we'll soak it in that pan right over
Yeah.
there.
How long you soak it?
Just make sure that you get the bag all wet,
Yeah.
because whenever we put it in this pit over here, we're going to be dropping it right on the hot coals.
Yeah.
And then covering it up as fast as possible, and then no air getting to it. That's what causes like a blowtorch.
Reggie, you talk to me. Talk over here so the mic picks up your question.
Oh,
Because I'm mic'd and he's mic'd. And it's going into the video.
yeah, this meat looks pretty good. Grab that piece of plastic. Thank you. Get
It goes in the 2 bag.
Yeah.
You know what, let me get rid of this so it don't blow on everybody.
Let's empty. Yep.
Thank you.
Let me get it. Wet. Let me get it.
You don't want this knot in this knot, right?
Yeah,
You want that knot in that knot?
yeah. So just take that burlap and take it straight up and twist the tail.
Yeah.
And then once you get it tight, all the way up, twist it all the way up, and then just roll it over. So you got a handle. You better go.
Come here, Rick.
You better go, Rip. I'm telling you, you're gonna be sorry.
All right, here you go.
That's where all the flavoring is, right there.
Right there, yes, good, yes.
No, great job for you. You made a great knot. You made me look good.
Well, you haven't done that, and if I have to, I'll give you the date quicker.
Red, you know Vernon's coming. Vernon Ridgeway.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. That's what they said yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you say Jeff?
No, Vernon Ridgeway.
Oh, yeah. So when's he coming into town, do you know?
Have no idea. Fran would be the one to give it. Fran.
Diane?
Fran.
Faran. Okay.
What some people have done is with the fat on the meat, when you have your beans, make baked beans, and you put the fat in there, a little fat, not much, and then with some of the beef cuts. And what it does is when it cooks, you don't have to, the beans don't stick to the bottom.
Oh, what a clever idea.
No, yeah, that's what they,
Well, Reggie, that's a clever idea. I wonder who came up with that.
that I don't know, but it works.
He's like meatball, meat.
I just can't imagine what it must be like to do this for hundreds of pounds of meat.
Well, when you're doing it like that, you have all the necessary gadgets and whats and shortcuts and know-how.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to do right now is just make sure that the pits, all the big pieces of wood are all broken up into coals. So, Chris, the pit's just about perfect. All the woods, I may have to pull one big piece out. I was afraid of that, but
that oak wood?
Yeah. Actually, there's about 4 pieces of almond in there, Reg.
Okay.
I just grabbed it because that's really seasoned over there,
Yeah,
and it'll start burning. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna let that burn just for a couple minutes, and if it doesn't get where I can break it down, Chris, then we'll just pull it out and put it over there. But remember how we talked about the coals being white hot?
Right.
You see how those coals are white hot? They're not red, they're not blue. Underneath they're red, but on the top they're white.
Okay.
And that's what you're looking for before when you
white.
put the meat in.
The white.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but you still have a couple of chunks of wood
Yeah.
that are not.
But I'm gonna probably pull this one out because I knew that it was gonna be hard to burn down because it was 2 big pieces.
You want me to get it now?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and take it out, Money. Take it over there and let me go look where it'll be out of the way. Is there anything in there that'll burn?
Charcoal.
Yeah, just put it in there. Perfect.
Boy, you can really feel the heat.
Oh yeah, yeah, yep. So which one of you guys want to dip the bags?
Bob.
Bob, Manchester.
Okay, dip them and bring me one at a time, and I'm gonna set them.
I got it. I'm recording. I got it.
Okay. Just make sure you get a saturated chance all the way down. Don't worry about your shoes getting wet, they're tennis shoes. I'll get my hose and help you.
Where's Reggie? Reggie, we got to get together with you.
Okay, bring her on, partner. Gracias, my brother. Have you got a plan when you're going to roll?
Tomorrow morning, first thing.
Bring the other one. Get it all soaked and bring it on. Hurry, 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 hurry. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Are we shoveling as soon as that?
Yep, as soon as I put that lid on it.
For this or what?
Yeah, both. And that wheelbarrow. You've got to get some more water on it. Where's that hose? Hold on to this right here, Money. See that lid? I mean, hang on to that bag.
Gotcha.
It's got to all be wet or it'll burn. And ask me how I know that, because I burnt the lid off one of them.
First shoveling?
Nope. Let me put this.
When you
The top of it wasn't wet.
you can
And that was burned.
We don't bury these ones.
What's that?
We don't bury these ones.
Now around the edge first. Right around that edge so you can't get any air down in there. Sorry, Chris. That's what stops that blowtorch effect.
She's doing fine. She's lying your way here.
Not at all.
Just push. That's it, Anna.
You're just right.
Okay.
Now just fill it up right around in the middle.
Start getting tired. I can get in
I think you've met Mac before, haven't you?
I'm going to show you this.
Put about 6 inches of dirt on that middle.
Shut myself off.
How you doing on time, Brad?
At home. We went to
Yeah, build up around those edges. Yeah, right there, Glenn. Put 2 or 3 scoops of shovel over there on that. Yeah, right in there. Yeah, fill that up over there. Just dump it right there, big piece of, yeah, just keep going. Now just build it up around the edge and then build up the middle. Here you go, I'm gonna help you. Watch your feet, gentlemen. Let me get a little more closer. Is it empty? Nope. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. You're videoing, I know, but everybody gets a handshake around here.
We got it recording again without the. Yeah, I think that was my fault, man. Oh, no problem. Get out of the middle of the sun.
Rip. We're not going to play ball. We're not going to play ball. Stay over there. No. Now you got a goat head.
Well, we got the extra hand. That's part of it. Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, he caught it on yesterday.
Okay, you ready?
I've been rolling since.
Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take the metal lid off of the pit to expose the meat bags, and we'll pull the meat bags out. We'll take the burlap off of the muslin bags, and we'll put them in an ice chest ready to transport. Goodness. Get back, Rip. Get back. Get back. Get back. You jump in there and you're not going to like it, buddy. Guarantee you. Because those coals are going to still be hot. Get back. Come on.
That is harsh.
Get back. Hold on. Get back. Stop. I know you want to eat it, but you're not going to be able to. There's bag number 1. The problem I have with him is the seasoning that cooks out of the bag, like right here. He'll eat that and then he gets salted, and you can't give him water because it just expands it, and so the only thing he can really drink is milk, and then they get a bellyache. And that's that part of it. That's bag number 2. Get back, Rip. I'm going to put that metal lid back on there so he don't jump in there. I'm going to pull the bags out of the ice chest that we pulled out of the pit earlier. I'm going to start breaking a bag up. You want to see all of this?
No, just put one bag out.
Okay. It's too hot to do it without gloves on. Still pretty warm. So this is the first bag. I'm going to put it in the tray, break it all up, and then they can start serving. So that's the finished product from the deep pit for the meat. This will be the beans, and this is the salsa. And we're getting ready to feed, so everybody can get ready to dig in.
You have to do anything, or just pull?
Yeah, I'm gonna break it up right now. You gotta do.
Needs a little salsa.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. Absolutely. They're missing the best part if they don't put salsa on the meat. This is just, hi Michael. How are you? Yeah, yeah.
The thing about video is you can block it all out.
We'll just cover it up and. Hello, Faye. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Did you bring the big man with you?
No, I'm
Oh.
going to stay home.
What about you?
Is that sufficient?
I think that's good.
I'm gonna go ahead.
That's right.